potentially think about owning it in other ways. And then maybe they take an in-kind redemption from the ETF, maybe one day, or they decide to self-custody themselves. And so it's just a matter of time, I think. Like I said, the world's a competitive place, and when people see these other companies that are coming out with Bitcoin treasury strategies outperform, they're going to want to start financing that. They're going to want to start buying those types of things. So it's just, it is inevitable, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think the significance of the ETFs is not fully appreciated yet globally. I think crossing that regulatory chasm, once you get that, SEC blessed security circulating in the hands of pension funds, endowment funds, and the likes in people's retirement accounts, you can't put that genie back in the bottle. So from a regulatory point of view, I think that's massive. And then I think the other thing that I think about the ETFs that is really significant is there are a lot of countries in the world where capital controls are the single most important thing, like China or Russia or somebody's not about to let people take their assets out of the country. And so they're very reluctant and very restrictive of letting people have access to Bitcoin because you can walk out of China, remember your 12 words, and go access your Bitcoin from anywhere in the world. But the ETF is kind of like domesticated Bitcoin versus wild Bitcoin. And so there's like that wrapper that you can't take your exchange-traded product out of the country. So I think that the ETFs are going to be embraced by countries like China, and there's an ungodly amount of money that could potentially come in to the ETFs in China and things like that for Bitcoin. And the other thing I think that's really important is these ETFs are depository receipts, right? As you know, which means that if you put $1 million into one of the, BlackRock's, Bitcoin ETF, they have to go out and buy $1 million worth of spot Bitcoin. So I think they're generally very positive, and exactly to your point, Bitcoin is all about freedom. So I think people should be free to Bitcoin any way they want, hold for any duration they want, have whatever allocation they want. But are you seeing among your friends, I'm sure because you got in really early and you got some fancy friends, and so were they like, what are you doing, man? And are they coming around at all? Like, socially, you were very public. You had a lot of courage to be out there. Are folks, of your ilk now coming up to you inquiring about it, or just saying, hey, congrats kind of thing?
People don't ask me that much about it. Maybe they just see me making enough public statements about it and know that I'm out there. I don't know. I wear my Bitcoin hat all the time. People generally don't ask me about it. I hope that's because they're doing their own education. I like to give out Bitcoin to people to help them come on board and learn more about it. You do what you can. I try and do it in a scalable way. I try and do it in writing, putting it out there. I think that's one of the best ways to do it. But
what were the sources of information that you used to go up the learning curve, and which sources of information do you think are the most constructive for the high net worth individual that we can maybe kind of help promote more and get in their hands more easily?
That's a great question. There's just so much online. Hope.com, everything Michael's put out has obviously been helpful. I just read the white paper. That was my initial take on it. So I'd encourage everyone, if you haven't done that, to do it. It's very short.
It's only like 9 pages, right? So
exactly. You should totally do that. I recently went through Lynn Alden's book, Broken Money. That's been
awesome.
Super helpful.
There's also a good half-an-hour video of it or something for those that don't want to read it, which is great too.
There you go. So those types of things. But there's a lot out there. Just going through the numbers, I think, is what gets me most excited about it. And